What is up? Yes, sir. We are here with day 76 of semen retention. And today I just want to talk about going all in, right? Today was a good day as far as semen retention, no urges, just a normal day, grinding, hammering the phones, making offers, things like that. But today I was talking to one of my students and, I was saying like, you could stay here, you could be here, but like, I give a discount to the people who joined the first month, right? I was like, you could have that, it's a hell of a discount. But he was kind of wavering on whether or not he wanted to do it because I understand. He didn't want to pay for something that he knew he wasn't going to give his all to, right? But he knew that he wanted to give his all to wholesaling real estate. And I'm pushing my students every day. I push them to be better. I push them to develop, to improve every single day. The accountability is there. Crazy. But he was kind of going over a situation with me. And I understand. I know what it's like being in that place where you want to go all in, but for some reason you can't. You're wondering like, and it gets to a point to where you're wondering like, what's wrong with me? Why can't I stay focused? Why can't I just go all in? Why can't I just do what I'm supposed to do every single day? Why do I stop doing what I'm supposed to do? And they list off the things of, either they wake up late or they have friends that distract them. They have friends that, want to go out and party, drink, smoke, whatever. Or they have distractions or things like that. Listen, I get it. I've been there. And I told him, you're in a place right now where I told him it was about 4 things. It was because he was too comfortable, he was too distracted, and he wasn't convinced. And I forgot what the other thing was. But if anything, it was those main 3. He wasn't convinced, he had distractions, and he was too comfortable. Okay? And those are 3 main things that they're gonna hold you back from going all in. Distractions, comfort. You're not convinced. You're not convinced that if you give it your all, it's gonna work out. You're not convinced that you can make it happen. You're not convinced that you are that guy. You're not convinced that you are that person who you say you want to be. I've been there before. And it takes a while for you to be convinced, for your mind to really catch up with the actions that you've been taking. And I told him, like, you're in this place where you keep going back and forth, back and forth. You're very consistent and on your goals, doing your habits every single day. You're journaling, running a mile, doing all this, making the calls every single day. But then you take a week or 2 off. Not because you planned on it, but because you got distracted. And now you fell into this binge or something of like distraction and not paying attention and just taking off, right? I used to be there. Specifically, I would measure it when I was on this path of self-improvement for that, the way I've been on for the past 3 years. I would have a weekly scorecard just like that, right? And I would measure the things that I wanted to do every day. And I saw that I would be on top of it for a week or 2, but then after a week or week and a half, 2 weeks, around that mark, I would always fall off. And I wouldn't do anything. Or barely any of my habits for like 2-3 weeks straight. But then I would get back on. I'd be really, on top of it, but then I'd fall off around a week and a half, 2 week marks, a 2 week mark. That is about where I would always fall off. And I'm like, why? Why is that? But because I was tracking it, I was able to see what happened when I started to fall off. And it always started with one small slip up. There was a bigger picture, a bigger issue of self-sabotage, but I was able to measure where I was messing up at and what would lead to the binge. And it was always one, let me just get a little, it was always just one little, this wouldn't hurt that bad. It always started with something like that. It always did, right? No faps, even retention, for example. It always started with, let me just get a peek. It's never just a peek, but that's how it starts. It would start with, let me just have a drink, just one drink. Or let me just go link up with these friends just real quick, just for a little bit. And that's how it started. And I would always convince myself to do that. Just a peek, just a drink, just a friend. And it always went off. And I would beat myself up about it. Then I'd get back on the horse. I'd be good for about a week, week and a half, 2 weeks. And then it would start all over again. And it's because I was too distracted, I was too comfortable, and I was not convinced. At the baseline, that's what it was. And so I had to get to a point to where I had to control those variables. I had to get to a point to where I physically cut off all of my distractions. I physically put myself in a constant state of uncomfortability. And I did that long enough and said my affirmations long enough, talked to myself long enough for over a certain amount of time, many times, that I am who I say I am. I am the person that I want to be. And if I'm not, then I am working towards it. And eventually got to that point, right? But eventually, even though I did all of those things, I had to completely leave that environment, which is why I came here. Right? That's why I came out to Houston. I left my home state of Louisiana, right? I'm not that far, but still. My mindset and my surroundings shifted and changed forever. I cut off everybody. I changed my phone number. And sometimes you have to physically change your environment for your mind to really flourish, to be the person that you want it to be. I had to cut my friends off. Good and bad. I had to cut them off, cut off my social media, no distractions, right? I had to lock myself in a room for long enough, right? And I'll still slip up here and there, but I prepared myself. The whole time I was preparing myself, and that's what I told my student. I was like, it's gonna be about a year or two before you fully go all in. And I said, a really big thing that changes people forever is rock bottom. I was like, you haven't hit rock bottom yet, and you have too much distraction, comfort, and you're not convinced that you are or you can be who you say you want to be. There's still this thing going in your mind of like, you beat yourself up or you tell yourself, I'm not that person because look at what I do, you know? And I told him it's going to be about a year or two before you fully go all in. It's going to be about a year or two. You're either going to hit rock bottom or you're just going to have a moment where you're like, I'm done, no more. Right? For me, I had to hit rock bottom. And then I had to fight towards, like, even after I hit rock bottom and I made the decision to change my life around, I still had a bunch of vices that I had to get off of me. Smoking, weed, nicotine, alcohol, drugs, sex, porn, fapping, going out, partying, validation, social media. I had to get off all of those things even after I made the decision to turn my life around. And sometimes that happens. People need about a year or two before they could fully go all in the way they envision in their head. I only went all in, like how I am right now. I've been out here for about 100 days now, about 110 days now, okay? I was all in before with all the distraction and vices. It's just I had the distractions and vices. So I wasn't going all in the way I wanted to, which is what I'm doing now. I'm all in the way I want to be. And I even want to be more all in. You know, I even want to keep improving is what I'm saying. But I was all in. I knew the direction I wanted to go in, and I was pushing towards that direction every day. But I still had the vices. I still had the distraction. I still had the comfort. But I was still fighting it every single day. I made my environment to where I was not comfortable. I had as little distraction as possible, right? And I said my affirmations. I told myself who I wanted to be every day, and I wrote it, and I visualized it. I looked at it every single day. So going all in, it takes a while to build up to that. I know from personal experience, it takes a while. It takes about a year or two of you trying hard. Try, pushing in that direction, fighting your vices, fighting the temptation, cutting them off and they come back, cutting them off and they come back. You have to keep pushing past those to where you could finally get to a point to where now you're ready to go all in. Right? But never tell yourself that you're not. Never tell yourself that. Go all in. Like what I'm saying is, it took me 3 years to get to the point to where I could come out here and I could go all in. I could give it my all and no distractions. And I could trust myself in that environment to not give in to distractions. If I were to come out here 2 years ago, I'd be done for. I don't know where I would be. I was not ready. I was not ready. If I came out to Houston 2 years ago, I would not be ready. I would be out at the clubs, doing stuff, partying, seeing people, meeting girls, doing things that I'm not supposed to do. I was not ready. I had to shed off all of those vices as much as I could where I was at. Then after two and a half years of me doing that, I was able to come out here and go all in. Give it my all. No distractions. Monk mode every single day. And now my lifestyle is monk mode. This is what millionaires do, because I study millionaires. They stay locked away in a room working on themselves, working on their business 24/7. That is all I do. That is all I do. I don't know who's watching this, but if you are watching it, I just want to say that you can go all in. Just because you're distracted, just because you keep going back and forth between productivity and distraction, right? Achieving your goals and being lazy, it doesn't mean that something's wrong with you. It just means that you're normal. You're normal. And it takes time to be that person that you envision yourself as. For the longest time, all I wanted to do was just be productive. I just wanted to be productive and work hard and like work on a business. That is all I wanted to do, but it took me a while to become that person. I had to shed off the person I had already been for so many years. I've been this person for, I don't know, up until I was 24 years old, right? It wasn't until I was 24 that I made the decision to change my life around. I'm 27 now, okay? I turned 27 in September. So it took a while. I was still in jail when I was 24. I got out of jail like the last day of January 2020. My life didn't start to the beginning of January 2021. So it's been 3 years. It's been 3 years. It takes a while. So don't beat yourself up. That's the number one thing that will hold you back from being the person that you want to be, is beating yourself up. Understand that it's all a process and things come over time. They do not come overnight. That is one thing that I could say definitely hindered me, but maybe it was a positive. It's like a blessing and a curse, right? Beating yourself up or being harsh with yourself. It's like it's bad because it conditions your mind and it keeps you at a lower vibration, lower frequency. But at the same time, it's only there because you're holding yourself to such a high standard. And you want to hold yourself to a high standard. It's good that you hold yourself to a high standard, but don't beat yourself up. It's really a thin line, but that's what I wanted to make this video about, going all in. It's not easy. It takes a long time to build yourself up to where you could get to the point to where you could actually go all in, Some people, it takes years. It took me 2.5 years before I was able to go all in on everything. I risked it all. I came out here 110 days ago. It's possible. You could do it too. So yeah, I hope you got some value out of this video. I'm on day 76 of semen retention. That was the point of this video. If you did get any value out of it, just hit the like button, comment, subscribe. You know what to do. Stay motivated.